Welcome to Podlygamists, the Sister Wives Rewatch podcast.
We sit down each week and recap an episode of TLC's longest-running reality show, following the Browns, a Mormon polygamous family originating in Lehi, Utah.
I'm Samantha Kaiser.
And I'm Haley Graff.
And this is Podlygamists,
Season 3, Episode 6.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shorter episode. I just noticed the runtime's only 21 minutes.
Yeah.
So that's a little more manageable for recording purposes, I feel like.
Right.
And the title is The Wives Diet Woes, which is like kind of sort of difficult to say, I guess.
It's kind of hard to say.
It seems like a riddle, but it's not. It's just like Old English or something. Yeah, we have a long description. It's the sisters open up about an issue that has bothered all of them: their weight. They speak candidly about their battle with the bulge and attempts to shed pounds as they make their way to a gym for body fat analysis. So you pointed this out earlier. The fact that they say the sisters is weird.
Yeah, I'm like, they're not sisters, but okay, TLC.
And also just like the creative license and like the cliches that they use in it are unusual, because the last many have been just like one sentence that are very like to the point. The Battle of the Bulge and exclamation points and all these things.
But again, maybe hired someone new to write the description. So
I guess it got like reassigned to somebody.
Right.
So yeah, that's like half the episode, and then the other half is a little bit of well, not half, but like the ending portion gets a little interesting too, with a visit from like a professor of religion out east, in quotes.
Out east
Boston. They just say there's no school assigned to it.
Right.
But we start out with, I guess, Meri has been on kind of a kick of going to the gym, and so she's bringing along Christine, Janelle, and Robin now.
My first note was a bit misleading because I wrote, Meri started a gym. And I'm like, no, she started going to a gym. She didn't start her own gym.
Yeah. She kind of talks about how her weight's always been an issue for her.
I don't see that in the past. She's so skinny, and like her wedding photos and stuff, and all the time, she looks like she's so skinny all the time.
Yeah, she looks pretty like average, if nothing else, like an average mom bod, if that's a thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe she's just on a little bit of a fitness journey, which doesn't really matter what size. Like, you can always try to get stronger and healthier.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, we'll get into like their choice of wardrobe for the gym. It's very interesting to me. But first, we do go through each wife, and they kind of just talk about their inspiration and like goals for going to hitting the gym, hitting that local Anytime Fitness.
Right.
Christine just kind of wants to look and feel better. Janelle talks about
mind getting yelled at. Christine does not mind getting yelled at by a trainer, she says. So I was
she wants motivation. Okay. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I think she just kind of likes the whole like shtick of like the fitness and working out, which is funny. Once she gets to the gym, like her capabilities are quite limited. So I'm like, you wanted a drill sergeant, and you can barely do one body weight lunge. Like, okay. Janelle talks about how ever since she had little kids, she just kind of has seen her weight creep up, and a lot of the focus of this episode is on Janelle, it seems like. And there's some interesting, like, I would say questionable, I guess it's reality TV, so they're just trying to show the challenging parts of a fitness journey for a mom and all these things, but she's kind of the one who they really focus on and tell her, you have the most to gain from this and all that, which feels like she's being singled out a little bit in this, even though Meri is the one who supposedly started this journey and she just bring them all along. And then Robin came along, even though she is extremely pregnant and can't actually do a whole lot of working out. But I guess it'd be weird if the one, like, we'll just say like the one skinnier wife, the thinnest wife, if they're just like, oh, you can stay home, Robin. Like, that would have been.
You don't need this.
Yeah. So we meet Bill, the trainer at Anytime Fitness.
Meri really likes Bill.
My first impression of Bill wasn't positive. the first thing we do is a weigh-in,
I know.
which that's part of like, I guess maybe at this time period, this is again 2011, fitness, like The Biggest Loser, those kind of like makeover shows were really big. So maybe it was kind of part of that
all about the scale
trend of like, look at this huge crazy number and we're gonna see you transform.
We're gonna drop 25 pounds this week. Like, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, that made me uncomfortable though. Like,
yeah.
The weigh-in. It didn't really matter. I mean, like, their goal is fitness and stuff, so it doesn't really matter, like, telling us really what they weigh. And the fact that they, like, said it and stuff, I just felt kind of bad for them, especially Janelle, because, like, she said she's never told anybody what she weighs, not even Cody. And women obviously are very judged on their weight, no matter if you're really skinny or overweight. It doesn't matter. Women are always just told your weight is not right, no matter what it is. So that just sucks.
I get the impression it was her decision to show it at the end of the day. Like, it seemed like she had debated on whether or not. She says, I've never told anybody, not even Cody, what I weigh. So she talks about how she was mortified about that. I wonder if she kind of decided that it felt important to her to show it and not be ashamed of it and not be like, leave that out or something.
It could maybe inspire like other people who are on a similar journey to get healthy or something and be like, okay, you know, we weigh something close to that. And if she can do it, I can do it kind of deal. I don't know, but it was tough though.
Yep. She talks about in her like one-on-one that her physical appearance has always been her Achilles. How she's like, I know I'm smart. I know I'm a good person. I know I'm a good employee. Yeah. My physical appearance has always been like a weak spot for her. And that just bummed me out so much because, yeah, she's right. She is obviously very smart and she's hardworking and all those things. But you don't want to like be bummed about what you see in the mirror either. That shouldn't be.
But like, again, that's a typical thing in our society with women. We're only told that you are worth something if you're young and pretty. You know, that's just ingrained in everybody. And then if you have somebody who does have weight struggles or anything, they can, again, like her, have a million good qualities and just struggles a bit with her weight. And like, that's the thing that you focus on. That sucks, you know?
Yeah. I really believe these like ladies, besides Robin, who we mentioned a couple times in the episode, she's just naturally a smaller person. Her weight, super pregnant, is 150. I was like, okay, we didn't need to.
No, I was kind of like, oh my God, did you have to tell anyone that? Because like 150, I mean, that's like for her to be heavily pregnant, and I was just like, damn it. Like,
well, and the fact that the rest of them came in at over 200, like we don't need to get into all who's like ranking the weights, but all of them were over 200, and then Robin clocks in at a 50, 150.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was just like okay, maybe you didn't need to come with Robin for this.
Yeah, maybe it would have just been better if you went on a walk at home. Like,
yeah, right. Let's see. Oh, to that point, I guess Christine in her little interview sort of says that you might assume, and I don't know, you tell me what you thought of this like comment, but she says you might assume that I would want a body like Robin, but I don't want to be too skinny. Did it feel like she was empowered, or did it feel like passive aggressive, or what did you have any feelings about that?
I felt like it came like a little bit self-conscious, like a comment. Okay. Like, I think she wants to be okay with her weight, and she wants to be okay with the fact that Robin is like the new young hot one or whatever. But I don't know that she is okay with it, and I totally don't blame her because that's a hard thing to be okay with. So yeah, I just felt like it was not maybe super genuine. Like, I think it's more of like a comment she'd want to be true, but I don't know how true it is.
That's a good kind of middle ground, is that she wasn't trying to be passive aggressive and sound petty about it. She was a little more revealing of a comment than she probably thought it was. Yeah, that's fair. That's probably a lot of what she says to the camera, like a lot of convincing herself. Because a lot of those comments that she makes about Robin, in like every episode, there seems to be one where it just comes across as like, ooh, is that trying to like knock Robin down a peg a bit? Or is that just her?
I feel like really though, like a lot of what she says where she's like, I want this, I want the big house back together, or she'll say things, like that. And even though we know looking back across the whole series of the show and present day that like those things were not true. I just feel like a lot of what she says is trying to convince herself of it. Like if I say it enough times, it'll be true. The fake it till you make it or whatever, you know. I just think that's kind of her MO at this point.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a good point.
Meri was saying, she's like, yeah, I don't see Robin as like a threat to my relationship with Cody at all because she weighs less or anything. And Cody, they're saying like, Cody actually really likes curvy women. So Robin's like, I don't have any kind of advantage here by being so thin.
Yeah, that was also a little like forced when she, in the part where she says to like, when they're all on the couch, she says, Cody told me in a very kind way, he told me he likes curvy women. And I was just sort of thinking, what context did that happen?
Right?
He's probably like, yeah, you're great and all. Yeah, this is fine. But I like bigger ladies. Like, check out my lineup that I have working. It was just like, just so you know, you're not too. I'm thinking of a really specific reference in my head of like a show where like this doesn't. Oh, it's from New Girl. It's the bar manager who's trying to convince Cece that he is like, this does nothing for me. That just lumpy, weird, and Cece's like the hot model. I just watched that recently, so that's what I'm thinking of. So anyways, I was curious about that conversation. But all the women are pretty much like, yep, Cody likes curvy ladies. And that's clearly has been the case because none of them are, like, Robin is clearly like a different body type than the rest of the women.
And also, I mean, because he kind of likes blondes too, because then she's the one brunette. Like, he does have a type. What are you thinking?
I'm just like, yeah, Robin's the tiny, like, brunette. After 3 curvier blonde ladies, it just feels... But that's the one that he has this deep connection with. You know, that's like the...
Again, that's my argument that I will probably maintain the entire podcast, that he wasn't really, truly in love with the one until Robin came along. Like, I think he's, like, been in love, but, like, in the way you're, like, in love with a high school sweetheart, and then it's a different kind of, like, love with an adult that you want to spend the rest of your life with. That's just my opinion.
They talk so much about his love with Meri.
I know, but I still am, like... I'll maybe like, waver a bit on that one with Meri.
Yeah.
I maybe will. But
she was also the first, so that's just different. Like they went into that marriage with different intentions. They didn't know that they were going to be plural.
Yeah,
you know, it's a different level of commitment when you're not sure that there's going to be many.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm going to be turning that over, like the psychology of like this outlier who is like the one out of after like 3 who were physically similar. But
yeah, I think it's just
Let's see. Bill to Janelle. Oh, this is the BMI part. Which, like, side note, pretty much most people in fitness and concerned with what a healthy body type is would tell you now, I think, that BMI doesn't indicate a whole lot.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I personally, and so I mean, I'll talk about my weight, I guess, since we're talking about weight, but like in my 30s now, I have gained weight from what I used to be. But like I've put on probably like 15 pounds in the last couple of years, and we work from home. So again, it's like that just
makes it
more
tougher.
Sedentary, and it's harder to get working out and everything. But I wouldn't say like my weight is unhealthy or anything for my size, my height and whatever. But my BMI, like I'm right at the top of the chart almost into like if I go like another point over, it'll be like obese. And I'm like, my doctor even was like, don't even think about it. Like, I'm like, if I just focused on that though, I'd be like, oh my God, I'm next to obese. Like, you know.
Yeah. Or if you remember like the Wii Fit, did you ever have a Wii Fit game where it like told you your body BMI or like where you fell on the chart of
figure that out?
Yeah, I don't know. You put in age and weight and height, and I think that's it, which again is not a great indicator. And in like gym class, they did that pinch test. Did you ever have that?
No, did they do that?
Where they like feel like they
see how much fat you have on you?
Separate how much fat from like your.
That seems kind of scarring.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure.
Especially for
And
like
the
high
fact that
school
you're doing.
kids.
Yeah, like they called it something like the fitness exam or national fitness exam.
Oh, we did that for like a military fitness. Like we
You did
had
like the sit and reach.
yeah, like we
And
did amount of push-ups and run a
yeah,
mile. But we
yeah.
did not do like a pinch test that I recall.
Oh, I'm 90% sure that's a thing. It's always possible I made that up, but I believe it's. I know we measured BMI, which is again for also when you're a kid, because that Wii board, that Wii Fit thing would tell me like there was like a risk for too small, a risk for too heavy. Like there was a whole like spectrum on that, and it always say I was at risk for like a unhealthy low weight, but I was like 10. You're just
How
like
can you
a
judge that? You're just like a little kid, you know.
yeah, exactly. That's I'm just you're just kind of gangly. Like you don't have a lot of little younger kids just don't have like the kind of fat on you that maybe is considered average. But
You just
anyways,
haven't hit your growth spurt yet, you know.
so that being said, I don't know how much the BMI is like should be an indicator. However, they are all maybe a hair over. Not all. The few of these of the wives are maybe a little overweight than what would be considered totally like fully healthy, maybe. But the fact that Bill looks at Janelle and he's like, he really singles her out after he gives her a BMI number. And he's like, this is really high. And she's like, it's better than it has been. And you can just see her body posture. Like, she really, like, looks defensive. And she says, well,
into herself. Like,
yeah. She's like, it's better than it has been in the past. And Bill's like, better is good, but not great. And Janelle says, no, it's very bad. And I just felt like that was so demeaning.
I know. And, like, I mean, she looked kind of, like, on the brink of tears the whole time, which is not something you see Janelle showing a lot, that being that vulnerable. And I'm like, it just, I don't know. I mean, she's like, I know all this. Like, I know that I need to get healthier and stuff. But that's the thing, though. Like, you can be what people would consider overweight and still in good shape. Just being a little bit overweight, you can still be healthy. Like, there's no, like,
yeah, for sure.
formula.
How's your heart doing? How's like your joints, everything like that? If you
can be really mobile and active and just have a heavier frame,
right? Which like, I think they all do. I think they all are.
They were built that way.
A build that is on the heavier set side, and especially Janelle. I think she has a body type that's just kind of rounder. Like that's just she just looks very much like that's the body type that she's been given.
Yeah.
And she, throughout all the seasons, goes through spurts of, I think, a fitness streak, and she loses weight here and there. And I don't know. Right now, she's selling some sort of MLM, like, weight loss drink of some sort. And it's also supposed to be like a probiotic or, I don't know. You can go on her Instagram and check it out. But it's still something she struggles with, is my point.
Yeah.
This is, 10 years later, more than 10 years later. But then Bill again looks at her and says, you need this the most. And I'm just like, we get it, Bill.
Bill, stop like singing. I mean,
she's aware.
She's uncomfortable too. And then, her going like, I didn't want anyone to watch me work out. So naturally, Christine and Meri are like watching her work out. And I'm like, you guys, like, she's not used to working out. She's saying like, I don't really know exactly what my body's capable of as far as range of motion and stuff like that. So it's like, let her just kind of play with it and figure out what is working for her and just give her some space here. Okay, maybe after a few sessions, she'll be happy to have you talk to her while she's working out. But like, let it just be today, you know?
Yeah. It's already so on display. Like she's already on TV in a gym. One of those types of gyms too, where it's not private at all. You like walking into that type of gym, I feel self-conscious. I now go to like a group fitness type of thing where everyone's facing one direction, everyone's doing the same thing. So I feel more better.
And see, I always like that kind of fitness class more too, where everyone is just focusing on their own thing. And like I like spin class a lot. I mean, nobody's really looking at each other in spin class. Like, you're just looking at the bike, or you're looking at your own stats on the bike. You're not. I'm not looking at someone next to me. I don't care what they're doing. So those are easier to get into than like open. Everyone can circle around you and just stare at you working out.
Yeah, or like just like the directional thing too. I've always thought at a gym, like you're not aware of like all the angles everyone is like facing you at and that kind of thing. Whereas in a group fitness, we're all facing forward. Sure, they can see you from behind, but you can't see them seeing you. So like,
Yeah.
and they're probably more than likely, even in a regular gym, they are focused on their own stuff. But I know I would like find someone to stare at when I was on the treadmill or that kind of thing. It's just
same, because you're bored on the treadmill and you're like, I gotta find someone to just watch as I'm like doing my stupid running on the treadmill.
Right. So, anyways, there's a lot of elements of like she's really being pretty vulnerable already, and like if you don't need everyone staring at you in the cameras and everything, then that's
even
fair.
just doing something new too, that like she is doing exercises that she hasn't done before and stuff, and like learning proper ways to like do lunges and squats and stuff like that is really important to make sure your joints and your knees are safe, and all of that's super important foundational stuff, and it's new. So like again, nobody feels comfortable doing something new for the first time, so just let her ease into it.
Yeah, she kind of just keeps saying, you're singing in the choir, I get it. She sort of seems like she's shutting down a little bit, but she gets there. We'll get there. The one side note, because there's commercials that we see on these TLC, like where I'm streaming, they pop in commercials, and there's a new show that just appeared on my ads called High Design, and it's where they take failing cannabis dispensaries and remodel them to make them cute. And I was like, what kind of niche, weird? Are there that many cannabis? Like, how are we sustaining?
Aren't doing well? I mean, because I feel like the cannabis industry has been doing very well.
And is the issue the style, like how cute the boutique is? I feel like no, but okay. It was just, I was like, wow, where?
I think that's such a very specific show.
Yeah, it's like Bar Rescue, but High Design.
But
I don't know.
Just for pot
dispensaries. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see. Oh, and then I make a note about the workout outfits, which is basically like a 3/4 sleeve black, like tighter t-shirt, some either leggings or capris that are black, and then a neon colored camisole over the top that they're rocking. That's a Meri and a Christine both have that look going. I didn't
know what the need of that was. Like, you could have just wore the long, like the 3/4 sleeve
black
shirt, you know?
Yeah, I know they're modest. I know it's a big thing for them, but throwing the tank top over the top, I don't know if it was like a waist control, like it was like a sort of a flattering.
Banks kind of.
I don't know. It seemed like an interesting choice.
Yeah.
That's all.
It looked it kind of looked like a 80s, 90s sort of workout gear, though. So I was like, you could go on theme there, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess. Let's see. Robin is essentially stretching. She's in a very interesting, like, knee crossed over the leg on top of a roller, foam roller, and she looks real uncomfortable. And he's like, "We got to work those knots out." I'm like, "What, out of her left butt cheek? Because that's the only thing that's in contact with this."
Yeah, and he's like, "Does it hurt?" And she's like, "Yes." And I'm like, "Okay," because typically, like, sort of like a rule of thumb, I mean, like, you're gonna feel like muscle burn and stuff when you're working out, but like typical rule of thumb is like it shouldn't really be painful, though.
Yeah.
So
not as much as it looked on her.
Yeah, so I was like, I don't really know what she's doing there, but okay.
Sure, I'm glad she's here. It's for moral support.
Right.
And then Bill, I do warm up to Bill a little bit. He seems like he's good at modifying the workouts for each wife. Janelle actually seems like she has warmed up to him and she trusts him and she likes the workouts he has her doing. And Christine seems they have fun together. She's being
laugh a lot, yeah,
dramatic, and so overall they seem happy, and I think this is something we kind of check in on periodically.
Because I feel like I remember seeing him a few times, so
I believe so. I think she sticks it out a little more, or at least we follow that journey a little more.
Yeah, I think so.
But we'll see. I think that for this episode, this might be the end of Bill's little segment.
I think so. I don't. The only other thing I had was that Christine is doing a thing where she's on like one of those half ball things that's on the floor, and she's like got her knees on it, and then she's walking out with those little hand things that you do a push up with.
Yeah.
Like, twist. And Janelle was like, "Yeah, I can't, I'm not at that level yet to do that." And she's like, "But it looks really fun." And I was like, "Oh no, those are not fun."
Those like ab it's like a
ab push-up kind of
almost
workout.
like an ab wheel, but just with like little like climbing feet, right, for your
Yeah,
hands.
I was like,
Yeah.
that. No, those are really hard. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay,
But
you'll see. You'll see when you work up to that level that
she'll
it's
get
not
there.
that fun.
I like the enthusiasm.
Yeah, I mean, like, she seemed at least willing to try, so that's cool. But
the B plot of this episode is that the family is inviting a religious scholar over, Danielle Tamanino. I tried to write it down. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Tamino.
I didn't catch
I got a feeling she's from Harvard, but maybe not.
Boston, though.
A school in Boston, they kept saying, you know, so I was like...
She could be from, like, BU, but...
Oh, I suppose.
Boston.
That'd be less impressive, but I suppose. I guess we'll find out when the family visits. I don't remember the plot of them visiting the East Coast at all with the kids, because supposedly they bring the kids to visit, like, colleges.
I don't remember either, unless maybe it doesn't end up happening, but I feel like there's a chance it would, so I don't know.
I'm curious to see what school that was. They were very vague about it. But she is also she's a professor and an Episcopal priest, right?
Yeah, and so on that, so I guess the Episcopalians, they call them women priests as well.
They call them women.
The women are priests.
Oh,
you know, like in Catholicism where women can't be priests.
Yeah.
So I just
could be. I actually went to an Episcopal service a handful of times as a kid because I had a friend who was
Episcopalian,
and I definitely thought it was Episcopalian, like they were a Episcopalian church. But it was like traditional and visually, but it was pretty modern in their beliefs. Like they had a guy with a type of a robe who was the priest, and they had the kind of communion where you all drink out of the same cup and that kind of thing. Like where you kneel around
that now during the pandemic.
No, I really doubt it. But
during the pandemic, that's a no.
But their format of preaching and their beliefs were pretty progressive. So anyways, that's all I know about them. But I wouldn't be surprised if they allow, obviously, if Danielle is a priest. I'm not surprised they allow that, given my experience with that one church.
Yeah, so they're meeting up. So she comes over and meets up, so then they can go to dinner. And then I wrote, the one thing I really do like about the Browns is like they do have such a willingness to have conversations about their own stuff, and then like about people who are different than them too. They really do a good job of like listening and sharing and stuff. I mean, again, today is maybe a little different with what they're struggling with, Cody especially. But like at this time, like especially, they were really good at sharing with people and listening and allowing for different points of view and stuff, where a lot of people who are strictly religious don't tend to do that on average. I mean, everyone's individual. So, but like if you were to take a poll, people who are very, very strictly religious sometimes don't want to hear outside perspectives or listen. So I just like a lot of respect for them for doing that.
Yeah, I think they really take their position as like a public family and from their church, from their beliefs very seriously, and they do weigh that in. And I believe that Cody is really open to talking and discussion and that kind of thing. He handles it really well. They're really good. I think they have in the back of their mind that they're trying to be really good poster children for their brand, for their deal, you know. And I think they do, between this one episode and last week when he talked to his hometown people. He just really is very measured and
patient with different views. And
and you would think, I mean, I would have thought maybe that her question, first of all, take a step back, they go out to a Chinese buffet right immediately after they've all started a fitness journey.
we're all trying to be really healthy. Let's go to a China buffet.
And also like one of the grossest, most informal sort of, if you're taking someone out who's a scholar and they're going to interview you, it's like the last. It doesn't have to be fancy. It could have been Applebee's.
They could have went to the Mexican restaurant, you know.
True, exactly. It could have been anything where you have a menu and not just a big old long table of heated food that's up. I don't know. Maybe it was delicious. I've had a good China buffet in my day, but
that's the thing. Like, when you're in the mood for it, like, it's great, but it's not what I would, if I'm gonna go out to eat, that's not what
a guest.
Like a takeout that I would do, you know? It's like, I'm craving like fast food or takeout. That's when I do Chinese. Not like to go sit down in the, just, that's me.
It does feel equivalent to like, had they taken her to like a McDonald's and sat down with her.
Yeah. And you're like, let's sit in the dining room at McDonald's and talk.
Yeah. It was just maybe it's a really good buffet. I don't know. It just seemed random.
But yeah, Robin is not feeling it. So
she's immediately, they said, dry heaving as soon as she walks in. Mm-hmm. Whereas she like can't eat because she is just kind of turned off by all the smells and the food because she's, I guess, super sensitive to it. The other ones are like, yeah, I'm having a salad because I'm on a diet. So they're sort of going back and forth. Would I rather be disgusted by all this food and not want it? Or would I rather enjoy the food but be like, have the risk of overeating and struggling with weight and blah, blah, blah. And they all kind of have their answers, which was, I don't know, Christine and Meri both like, I love food. I would not wish that upon myself. And practical Janelle is like, if I was disgusted by food, I wouldn't struggle with it. So that sounds good to me.
And I think that kind of like, it was practical, but then it also like made me a little bit sad because she was like, then I wouldn't have to deal with the struggles of stigmas of being an overweight person, that people look at you that way and just judge you immediately. And it just made me so sad because I was like, that's someone that you can tell has had a lifelong struggle with weight, and that, you are treated differently based on your appearance and your weight. Unfortunately, it's so devastating that that's the way things are, and it really affects people. I'm like, and right there you can see how like that's affected how she has thought of herself her whole life. It just sucks.
Yeah, it was sad to hear her talk about the discrimination she feels like she's dealt with. But back to our sort of, I guess, interview with Danielle, the scholar. Her first question is asking about what they think or how they feel about the polygamists, the things that are happening on polygamous compounds. And to me, that's sort of a shots fired. She says it in a really political way of like, what do you think about the things happening on these compounds? But it is also jumping right into like, we know what you're talking about. You're talking about the Jeffs. You're talking about the child brides. You're talking about abuse. You're talking about terrible things that have happened. So
she just went there right away. Like, which I guess like, sure.
She's not wasting their time. And she, and like, why like mess around with small talk when she just wants to understand their background in the faith and stuff. But they address it well.
They did. And like we've talked about, so last week we were talking about that we're not really sure how they were connected with their sect or anything. And we did have somebody write in and tell us the AUB. I forget exactly what it stands for.
I have it pulled up actually because I knew it would come up.
It actually tied in really well with this episode too. So
weirdly. Yeah, we had a great, very not like mysterious person write in and share what
information.
I guess they've just done research and are interested in what they've done some digging on what the Browns church actually is, because it's not technically FLDS in the way that the FLDS is its own church rather than like a category.
It says like on Wikipedia it's like a liberal version of fundamentalism.
It's the AUB, the Apostolic United Brethren, which is a Mormon fundamentalist group, not to be confused with the fundamentalist Latter-day Saints, I guess. And they practice polygamy. They have a temple in Mexico since the 90s, which is relatively recent. And then I guess like another church or endowment house in Utah. And then they have a kind of prevalence in Wyoming, Idaho, and Montana, which begs the question why we moved to Nevada and then Arizona.
I feel like you could have moved to Wyoming,
a place where they had some background in
family
community. Anyways, so they're known as the work or the priesthood or the group, which is the work and the group are very like spy and KGB and mysterious sounding. Right. But basically they're just a little more, they don't believe in arranged marriages. They don't believe in younger marriages, like children being married.
And they're okay with husband and wife like having sex, not just to get pregnant.
Procreate, yeah. So that's kind of just a little summary of where the Browns are coming from. The issue, I mean, the thing is that they're never a part of a community that's part of the AUB. Never again since they leave Utah. They don't have a background. So I don't know how much they would still consider themselves this sect with how long it's been since they've actually been physically in proximity of it. And there's an interview where Peyton Brown talks about how they haven't been around other polygamous family physically close to them, besides like the random visits that they show on the show with like other, I feel like they're a little bit staged. Yeah. They haven't been around other polygamous families since they were kids who lived in Utah. So anyways,
that's really hard to keep up then with it. Cause like, I mean, kind of a huge part of faith, like organized religion, is the community aspect. Yep. So otherwise it's just your own spirituality that you're doing on your own.
It can be easy to lose your path a little bit, I think, if you don't have that reinforcement or people just to like talk to.
That's why people, that's one of the good things about church. That's what people like about church, is having that community. So it's to not have that for over a decade now.
Especially when your faith is so visually, it's so like clearly physically different in the way that your family is than what most of the rest of the world around you is. You just are just so other. You're so other in that way.
Well, and that's what Cody says in the response to the compounds, that he's like, compounds are a part of their faith that comes from a desire to have community. So it's not just that they're wanting to be creepy in the compound with the child brides, but they also do want to just be in a community of people who share their faith.
It seems to start with that. We want our own community. And the secrecy, of course, always breeds like the bad stuff.
Yeah. But like the desire for community is not weird.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fair. What humans are wired to do, is have community and connect. So.
Yep. So that was an interesting and thoughtful and, again, measured response for the question of what do you think about what's happening on compounds, basically. But we don't get a whole lot of their whole actual interview, I guess. That's kind of the main question. She does invite them out to see her students at the university in Boston that she teaches at. She invites them to come out and speak and be probably on like a panel, it sounds like. And also she suggests that they bring the kids out so they can see a college out east, which is, like they say, is a unique opportunity they might not have otherwise.
Yeah.
In turn, they invite Danielle to Leo's 16th birthday party, which is a lot. Danielle and her husband both attend.
And Danielle's an only child.
Yep. So and meanwhile, 4 of the boys are just returning home from Utah where they've been for the whole summer. So not only is it Leo's birthday party, it's also the homecoming for 4 boys. So it's a lot of screaming and a lot of chaos. It's sweet, but you can tell they're just like, I don't know what, they're just like standing in the foyer like, too much stimulation.
I mean, that would be a lot for anybody, I think. Even if you were like, oh, I come from a big family, and like we've got 5 siblings. Like, well, that's nothing on the 20 that the Browns have. So
yeah. Overall, I wrote down that I would cast Sarah Silverman to play Danielle. I feel like totally. She's a lot like. Right. Otherwise, we kind of circle back to the gym, I guess, one last time before the end.
Oh, one little thing I had. Okay. Cody gave Leo like a ring or something.
I think a necklace.
Oh, okay. Some kind of jewelry. And they were like, well, thanks so much, Dad. This is really pretty. And he did this like cute little like wink at them. Yeah. And I just thought it was really like a really sweet fatherly thing. It just was, it looked so natural and cute. I just thought
like he was so proud that they liked the gift and stuff, Yeah.
And it was just a sweet moment, and I was glad they caught it on film.
They also received it really well. Like gift opening can be so weird, and they seem to really love it. And like, wow, Dad! Oh my gosh!
Yeah, it was like genuine.
I love it. It's so beautiful. Like they really did a good job of just making Cody feel good about the gift. You know, it was, I don't know, that was sweet.
It was cute.
And then we circle back to the gym. The note I had was the group hug. I guess they did a workout together, and they end with a group hug, which I thought was weird.
Bill's just really liking the ladies.
I guess. It's just they're all just had worked out, but okay.
Yeah, the last thing I want to do is have a sweaty group hug, but okay.
Yeah. And Janelle is saying how she already feels good and confident about just having moved and exercise has given her more energy. She feels more confident. She's feeling good about her results already. So that made me happy to see her feel accomplished in that.
And then it wasn't taking her a ton of time, like that she felt progress from one session. Like you're not going to see, 15 pounds drop off the scale in one session, but if you're already like feeling confident in what you can do and what you could build to do, that's a great way to start her fitness journey.
Yeah, definitely. It was a feel good moment.
Yeah.
I had a few odd announcement type notes that I had thrown on here.
Yeah.
Maddie and Caleb are having another baby.
Oh, I saw that when I was on vacation, and I was like, I'm going to text Haley. I was like, no, she already knows.
And I forgot to bring it up last week, I guess. But yeah, they're having a third baby after Axel and Evie. So that's exciting. Mm-hmm. And then also Aspen and Tony are having twins, which I think we talked about. But they're having both. We found out they're having two boys. Oh, McKelty, you're right. Not Aspen. I don't think she has any kids yet.
Yeah.
McKelty and Tony are having twin boys. So that's exciting. That's just update, I guess, on the reproduction of the Brown kids.
The Brown grandkids on the way.
Yep.
They even talked about the grandkids this episode, too, where they were like, when all the kids are out of the house, are we going to go on vacations together? We'll just hang out with the grandkids.
Yeah, I was like, no, not so much. But but the grandkids, yeah, I'm like, you already have, I don't know. If after all these current ones are born, we'll have three. Oh, that's it, huh? 6 total?
Yes, 1, 2,
Maddie's kids and McKelty's kids.
Are those the only ones?
Because Leo doesn't have any kids, Logan doesn't have any kids.
And Aspen doesn't yet.
And Aspen's the only other one who is Meri.
I think so.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
But hey, 6 grandkids on the horizons. That's fun.
And otherwise, I just wanted to thank again our listener who messaged me. They have like a very mysterious Instagram handle of I guess I won't name it, but it's like a spy name, and they have like a little spy lady logo. So just thank you for reaching out. Reaching out with your info, and I have read up quite a bit on the AUB. It's very interesting, and I guess what they recommended was Escaping Polygamy, I believe, the show, which I think is on TLC.
Oh, I'll have to watch that.
It deals a lot with the AUB. So there is, it's not totally on the up and up. There are some like shady pieces of it, of course, but also they are still kind of secretive compared to like your typical church where they are encouraged to evangelize and everything. They're, like Robin said in the last episode, they're encouraged not to proselytize. So anyways, there's some level of secrecy which can, lead to some sketchy stuff sometimes.
Yeah, but we'll have to try watching that show then. And
yeah, I wonder if it'll be a little bit of it will be a bummer for sure. So I don't know, but I am curious about it. So we'll have to maybe do a couple episodes and talk about it or something.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I gotta go eat my dinner before volleyball, so I'll
go win the volleyball.
Probably won't, but it'll be fun. All right. I'll see ya.
Bye.